Welcome to online class, Standard 7, History, Chapter 7, Social Change in Tribal and Nomadic Communities. So, this is going to be the second part of the lesson. Let's start the second part of the lesson. In the first part, we consider that we are going for trekking so that it will be easy for the understanding. Like same, now also we are going to trek. We are going to trek about the nomadic groups, social change in tribal communities, the Gaunt Dynasty, the Ahom's Dynasty. So these are the things we are going to see in the part 2 of the lesson. The nomadic groups. There were different nomadic groups. Before getting into the groups, what is nomadic means? Nomadic means the people belong to tribe community, but what they'll do is they'll change their living places. They'll change their habitat according to the seasons. So those peoples are called as nomadic peoples. Those nomadic peoples have different groups such as Banjaras. In our lesson, we are mentioning about the Banjaras. Many of the nomadic people, they were heeders of cattle, goat and sheep. Why they heed those things means they got milk from that and they got milk products from that. So because of that, they developed in that field on exchanging the goods and they fulfilled the day-to-day needs and necessities. So already I said about Banjaras. Let's see about the Banjara group people. The nomadic group Banjara people, they belong to a tradition based people. They carried goods like food grains, pulses and textiles from one place to another place. They'll collect that in a bulk manner and they'll transport them to the outer towns and other villages and also to sultans and also to Mughal emperors and also to the army people of the Sultanate and Mughal people. Then also they traveled using the thousands of bullock cart. If one bullock cart is going means behind that 9,999 bullock carts will be following that. So they'll be in a group to convey their needs. They'll be in a group. You can see the picture how they travel using the bullock cart or using a camel. They used to travel from one place to another place. Because of the exchange process, there were a social change during the medieval period. So tribal people were believed in equal society. If I go, they'll treat me as their own people. They won't see me as another person. They'll see as a equal people. So they refused the Hindu caste society and also the differentiation between the biased people. Even though they followed the hierarchical manner, they had a relationship with the mainstream people. That means they had a relationship with the town people. Why means they need the town people were in the need of skilled persons, skilled craftsmen. Skilled craftsmen mean the person who know to do all the works, the goldsmith work, the blacksmith work, all the works. So they were in need. The mainstream people were in need. As same, the tribal people also mastered in all the skills. Okay, so they formed a new group, subgroups called jatis. Within the caste system, they formed the group jatis. Some of the people also adapted Islam because they liked the religion. So they started to move to the religion and they followed the religion. So these tribal people and nomadic people learn to defend themselves, protect themselves because Delhi sultans and Mughal were troubling them. So they learned how to defeat and defend them. So they created their own towns and own kingdoms and they made their own kings among themselves. So the first kingdom is the Gaunt Kingdom. So they are also called as Gondas. They are in the central part of the India. They were in the central part of the India. This dynasty was the largest dynasty. They also refer them as Kol and they belong to the Dravidian family. They had a rich oral tradition which is passed from one generation to another generation. From grandfather to father, father to son. They passed the generation from generation the culture. Next is the traditionally they were nomads. Later on they started to live in a particular place. So they started agriculture as their main work. They did metal work, carpentry work. On knowing the many skills, they got developed in the wealth and the power. Then they got interaction between the mainstream society also. They divided into several classes and the main god of them was their ancestors were considered as god, and they also did the maternal alliances with the Rajputs. They got married to the queens of Rajputs and they married the kings of Rajputs, so that they created a relationship between them. They prayed to the god and they considered the god as the supreme power. Later on, they established different and new kingdoms. So they established kingdoms in Kerala Bitul and Dehora Chindwar. These things are noted in Babarnama, which was written by Abul Fazil. So Abul Fazil mentioned about the Gaunt dynasty in a brief manner. Shaharam Shah, the ruler, he made his son Dalpat Shah to marry the Princess Rani Durgavati, who belonged to the Chandel dynasty. The marriage was done in the year of 1542. So later on, what happened? The both dynasty became as a friends and relatives. So what happened? There was no quarrel between the Gaunt and the Chandel dynasty, but Mughal started to quarrel with them. So what happened? They started fighting against the Mughal emperors. Later on, the Dalpat Sangh was passed away. So after that, Rani Durgavati was made as the queen. She led the army for Mughals, and what happened? She was attacked by the Mughal and she got died in the battle by fighting with them. So after the downfall of the Mughal emperor, many new religion came into exist. So I have mentioned the picture of the fort and the statue of Rani Durgavati. Have a glance at it. The next is Ahom dynasty. These people arrived from Burma, now we call it as Myanmar, in the 13th century. Shukapa was the leader and the first king of the dynasty. He made capital Charode, then later he changed to Gongoron. At the time of the death of Shukapa, the Ahom people, the Ahom dynasty reached a vast area from Brahmaputra to the Naha hills in the west and the east. Okay, so there were a vast area they occupied, and they had a Mughal rulers keep on troubling them, and they acquired the resources of aromatic plants and elephants from Ahom dynasty. I have mentioned the emblem of Ahom dynasty and the fort of Ahom dynasty and the Shukapa king. Have a glance at it. Mir Jamula, the governor of Bengal, he conquered Rudra Singha. Later, he agreed with the Aurangzeb. Then Lakshit Barbuhan, he was the Ahom commander-chief. He got defeated with Mughal emperors and with the help of the Rajputs. The Ahom and the Mughal dynasty was keep on fighting till the arrival of British in the year of 1826. There was a great ruler in Ahom dynasty named as Rudra Singha. From 1696 to 1714 CE, he started his kingdom. He ruled the kingdom in a proper and a liberal manner. He built the capital at Rangpur and he nourished with the goodness, the people with the goodness, and he made the agriculture as main occupation. Then he skilled many officers, he appointed many officers. Then he also did road works and he constructed dams and he had a Sanskrit scripts also and the text also. You can see the coin of Ahom dynasty and the palace of Ahom dynasty. Have a glance at it. So we are in the end of the trek. So we have learnt about the nomadic groups, social change in tribal communities, about the Gaunt Kingdom, about the Ahom dynasty. So these are the things we learned from the lesson. We'll meet in the next lesson. Thank you.